When was the last time you were truly bored? Not scrolling, not rushing, not filling every silence with noise, just sitting still with yourself. In today's world, boredom feels like an enemy. We run from it, drowning in screens, chasing distractions, fearing silence. But what if boredom is not emptiness, but the beginning of everything? The Stoics knew stillness is where wisdom grows, where clarity begins, where strength is forged. Tonight, I want you to look at boredom not as a curse, but as a doorway, a hidden miracle waiting to be discovered. Imagine this. You're stuck in traffic. Your hand instantly reaches for the phone, or you're waiting in line, already scrolling. We fear silence more than we fear pain. A Harvard study proved it. Most people chose to shock themselves with electricity rather than sit alone with their thoughts for 15 minutes. Think about that. We have trained our minds to escape instead of reflect. And yet, deep down, we know running from boredom is running from ourselves. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics faced chaos too: wars, loss, political storms. Yet Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, carved time to write in silence. Seneca warned that life feels short because we waste it in distractions. Epictetus taught that avoiding truth only weakens us. To them, stillness was not weakness. It was power. And today, this ancient wisdom can save us. Boredom is not an enemy to kill, but a teacher to embrace. A sacred pause where creativity, clarity, and meaning are born. In this video, you will learn why boredom might be the missing ingredient in your life. We will uncover how silence fuels creativity, how stillness strengthens discipline, and how emptiness reconnects you with purpose. This is not about wasting time. This is about saving your mind. By the end, you will see boredom for what it truly is, a hidden miracle. And if you are brave enough to embrace it, boredom may just change your life. Principle 1. Boredom is the lab of creativity. Boredom is not wasted time. It is the hidden laboratory of the mind, where new connections spark when we stop drowning in noise. The Stoics knew that silence is the birthplace of insight. Today, when you resist the urge to check your phone every 5 seconds, you give your brain permission to wander. And in that wandering, ideas are born. What feels like emptiness is actually incubation, the soil where creativity grows. Einstein once said, "Creativity is intelligence having fun." But before intelligence can play, it must pause. Seneca warned that life feels short because we fill it with distractions. Marcus Aurelius, even as emperor, carved time for stillness, reminding himself, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." These words echo across centuries. Silence is not absence. It is a gift, a sacred retreat where brilliance is born. History shows us that breakthroughs rarely happen in chaos. Newton wasn't in a laboratory when the apple fell. He was sitting in stillness beneath a tree. Einstein's daily long walks gave his mind space to connect unseen dots. Writers, painters, philosophers, they leaned into boredom, letting silence do its work. Marcus Aurelius, leading Rome through storms, still found time to write his meditations. Wisdom was not born in noise, but in stillness. And so too, your greatest ideas may come when you allow yourself to be bored. Today, creativity is smothered by constant stimulation, but you can reclaim it. Try walking with no headphones. Take a coffee break without your phone. Allow yourself 10 minutes of silence each day. At first, it feels unbearable. Your brain twitches like an addict. But if you stay, the silence begins to sing. Problems untangle, ideas appear, clarity awakens. Boredom is not dead time. It is the incubation chamber where your most creative self waits to be discovered. Principle 2. Facing the fear of silence. Most people are not afraid of silence because it is empty. They are afraid because it is full. The moment the noise fades, the questions appear. Am I living the way I want? Do I really love this life? What happens if I never change? Silence is not empty. It is a mirror. The Stoics warned us long ago. Running from your own thoughts is running from yourself. To face silence is to face truth. and truth is where freedom begins. Seneca wrote, "Men flee from themselves." And Marcus Aurelius, in the dead of night, reminded himself that nowhere you can go is more peaceful than your own soul. Silence frightens us because it removes the mask. Epictetus said, "Avoiding truth does not protect you, it only weakens you." These voices echo across centuries. To sit in silence is to sit in strength, not in weakness. The fear of silence is the fear of honesty. A famous Harvard experiment asked people to sit quietly in a room for just 15 minutes. No phones, no books, only themselves. In front of them was a button that delivered an electric shock. The result? Most participants chose pain over silence. Imagine that. We would rather suffer physical discomfort than face our own minds. This is the modern tragedy. And yet, the Stoics would tell us, the place you fear most, the silence, is the very place your strength is waiting. So what does this mean for us today? The next time you are in traffic or waiting in line, resist the reflex to escape. Don't reach for your phone. Let the silence hang. At first, your mind will sting with questions you've been avoiding. That's good. Those questions are your compass. They point to what needs to change. The more you run, the heavier silence becomes. But if you sit with it, silence transforms from an enemy into your greatest teacher. Principle 3. Technology hijacked our brains. Boredom did not disappear by itself. We killed it. Or rather, we handed the job to our phones. That glowing rectangle has become a boredom assassin, ready to fill every gap, every pause, every second of stillness. At first, it feels harmless. A quick scroll, a peek at notifications. But the truth is darker. Each glance robs us of silence, and silence is where meaning lives. Technology has hijacked our brains, replacing reflection with distraction. The Stoics would have laughed at us. Imagine Marcus Aurelius trying to write his meditations, but every 2 minutes, new message, breaking news, someone's angry on Twitter. Would wisdom have survived? Seneca warned, "Life is not short, but we make it so." Today, it is not war or famine that consumes us, but endless notifications. The philosophers remind us, the more we run from silence, the emptier our lives become. Think of your grandparents. They weren't flooded with world drama every 5 minutes. They weren't waking up to 1,000 opinions before breakfast. And you know what? They were fine. Probably calmer too. Compare that to us. We panic if we don't check our phone for 10 minutes. The irony is clear. The more connected we are online, the less connected we feel to ourselves. We drown in noise, and yet starve for meaning. So how do we take our minds back? Begin small. Don't let your phone devour every pause in your day. Next time you're waiting in line, leave it in your pocket. Walk without music. Sit in silence for 10 minutes. At first, you'll twitch like an addict craving a fix. That's proof your brain was hijacked. But with practice, silence becomes less threatening. Slowly, you start hearing yourself again. And in that rediscovery lies freedom. Principle 4. Training your boredom muscle. Boredom is not just something that happens to you. It's a skill you can train. Just like lifting weights strengthens the body, sitting in silence strengthens the mind. At first, stillness feels unbearable. But the Stoics understood, discomfort is the path to growth. Every moment you resist the urge to escape boredom, you are building mental muscle. And over time, what once felt like emptiness becomes your greatest strength. Epictetus taught his students to practice discomfort on purpose, so they would be ready when life grew harsh. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. These voices remind us, strength is not born in comfort, but in resistance. Training your boredom muscle is not punishment. It is discipline in disguise. It is how you become unshakable. Think of your first day at the gym. Even a small weight feels crushing, your muscles scream, your mind wants to quit. But over time, the same weight becomes easy. Boredom works the same way. At first, 10 minutes without your phone feels like torture. But with practice, your thoughts begin to settle. Ideas appear. Insights unfold. This is how great minds across history, philosophers, artists, leaders, used boredom as training, not as weakness. Here's how you train. Start small. Take 10 minutes a day with no phone, no music, no distractions. Walk, sit, or simply breathe. At first, your brain will itch for stimulation. That's withdrawal. Push through it, and you'll discover a calm beneath the noise. Over time, this discipline spills into every part of life. Work feels less dull. Relationships deepen. Even chores become grounding. Because boredom, practiced with patience, is resistance training for your soul. Principle 5. Rediscovering simple joys. The more you run from boredom, the more your whole life starts to feel boring. Constant stimulation raises the bar so high that ordinary life seems flat. But when you allow yourself to sit with stillness, something shifts. The small things, your morning coffee, a walk under the trees, laughter with a friend, suddenly feel alive again. Boredom resets your senses. It lowers the threshold for joy, teaching you to see beauty in the ordinary. Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each day to treasure the sunrise, his breath, the simple act of waking alive. For the Stoics, joy was not in chasing fireworks, but in learning to notice the sparks in daily life. True richness comes not from endless excitement, but from gratitude for what is already here. Picture this. A man sits on his porch with no phone, no music, just silence. At first, his hand twitches for distraction. But then he begins to notice the sound of birds, the wind moving through trees, his own breath slowing. Suddenly, he is not bored, he is present. This is the hidden gift of boredom. It does not rob life of color. It restores the colors we have forgotten to see. Here's your challenge. Try one ordinary activity today with no distractions. Drink coffee without your phone. Walk without headphones. Share a meal without a screen at the table. At first, it may feel slow or strange, but stay with it. You'll find yourself laughing deeper, tasting more fully, noticing more vividly. Boredom is not the death of joy. It is the reset button that brings joy back to life. Principle 6. Silence in relationships. Silence is not the enemy of connection. It is the proof of it. True intimacy is not built on constant words, jokes, or entertainment. It is built on presence. When you can sit in quiet with another person and feel no need to fill the gap, that is depth. The Stoics knew this. Being fully present with others was an act of strength, not weakness. Silence, shared without fear, is not distance, it is trust. Epictetus said, "Friendship is tested in stillness, not just in laughter." Marcus Aurelius wrote that being with others means being fully present, not distracted. These voices remind us that silence is not emptiness, it is space. Space where authenticity breathes, where relationships grow stronger. When we embrace silence with another, we discover that love is not found in noise, but in stillness. Think of couples who last decades together. Often, it is not the fireworks of new love that keep them, it is the comfort of silence. Sitting on the couch, no words, no phones, just being. Friends on long drives, not forcing conversation, simply present. These moments are not awkward, they are profound. The tragedy today is that we fear these pauses. We rush to fill them with noise. But real connection does not fear quiet. It breathes in it. Try this. Leave your phone in another room during dinner. Go for a walk with a friend. No headphones, no agenda. Let pauses breathe. At first, it may feel awkward, but if you stay with it, silence becomes part of the rhythm. You listen deeper. You laugh more. You see the person in front of you. Boredom in relationships is not a flaw. It is intimacy in disguise. To sit in silence together is to say, "We are safe. We are real." Principle 7. Boredom as emotional detox. Boredom is not just stillness, it is a detox. When you are constantly entertained, you never let emotions surface. Stress, anxiety, frustration, they pile up, buried beneath distractions. Boredom is the pause that lets your mind process what it has been carrying. At first, it feels chaotic, like opening a messy room. But this is the beginning of cleansing. Without silence, emotions rot. With silence, they finally breathe. Seneca warned, "We are always complaining that our days are few and acting as though there will be no end of them." He meant that we bury our discomfort in distractions, exhausting ourselves. Epictetus taught that freedom comes not from avoiding discomfort, but from confronting it. Marcus Aurelius turned his own nights into emotional cleansing by journaling. They remind us, stillness is not passive, it is healing. Imagine your mind as a room. Every time you distract yourself, you throw clutter into it: stress, worries, insecurities. Over time, the room fills, leaving no space to breathe. Boredom is the act of entering that room and finally cleaning it. At first, you uncover things you'd rather not face. But once sorted, space returns and peace follows. This is why Marcus Aurelius wrote every night, not to escape, but to cleanse. Here's your practice. Give yourself 15 minutes a day with no phone, no music, no book. At first, thoughts will race, emotions will surge. That is the clutter showing itself. Don't run. Let it come. Write it down, breathe through it. Over time, the noise fades and peace grows. Think of boredom as fasting for your mind. The first hunger is painful, but soon your system resets. Silence is not a void. It is a purge. We began with boredom, a word most of us fear. But through the lens of Stoicism, we've seen its hidden strength. Boredom is the seabed of creativity. It is the silence that confronts us with truth. It trains discipline, restores simple joys, strengthens relationships, and cleanses emotions. Far from being wasted time, boredom is sacred time. The Stoics teach us, the moments you avoid are the very moments that can set you free. We live in a world terrified of silence. But every time you resist the urge to escape boredom, you grow stronger. Every pause becomes practice. Every quiet moment becomes training. You are not wasting time. You are sharpening your mind, cleansing your heart, reclaiming your soul. The Stoics remind us, strength is not built in noise, but in stillness. And the one who can master boredom is the one who cannot be broken. Here is your challenge. Once a day, choose silence. Leave your phone behind. Walk without music. Sit with your thoughts. At first, it will sting. But soon, you will notice clarity returning, gratitude blooming, presence deepening. This is not just philosophy, it is practice. Begin today, because every time you enter silence, you are not losing time. You are reclaiming it. The Stoics believe that freedom is not found in noise, but in stillness. And so, as you close this video, remember, boredom is not your enemy, it is your ally. Embrace it, and it will return your life to you. This is not the end, but the beginning. Welcome the silence. Live with clarity. Live with strength. This is the miracle of Stoicism.